Hey everybody, and welcome back to another tutorial. If you're new here, I am Corinne Blackstone and welcome to my craft room. If you've been here before, welcome back. Today's tutorial is going to be all about the peekaboo shirt. Now what I love about this is that you can do this with sublimation or HTV, printable HTV, whatever you really have will work, and it's really pretty easy to do. I'm going to show you all the different steps to doing this with sublimation, but you will do very similar steps to use HTV. So let's get started.
Whatever we would do, we do it just for fun.
The first thing that we need to do is to press our sublimation for the back panel of the peekaboo shirt. Now I'm just using a CRICUT brand polyester shirt because I hate them. I don't like the way they fit. So I use these as like cut-ups because I just don't like them. So they're perfect for this kind of a situation. So the first thing that you want to do is go ahead and lint roll. And this lint roller is awful. Got it from the Dollar Tree, but it works. It's almost empty, so I've got a new one. But it keeps rolling off the roll. But you want to lint roll your shirt. And then for this, we don't really care if it's straight. We don't really care if it's even. But we want to make sure that we have enough space around the top and the sides and the bottom of this to cut around. I like to press while it's still on my shirt. Some people like to take and cut the panel then press, but for me, I like to press then cut. So all I'm going to do is put a little bit of heat tape, and this is Caesar heat tape, and I'm just placing this on the corners. This just helps hold it down and in place where we want it. And then what we need to do is put some butcher paper inside the shirt, and then there's a piece for on top. This just helps with any blowout from the image because we can use the back of the shirt as well for more fabric, and then we can use all the other pieces for smaller pieces of fabric for lots of things that we make with sublimation on our own pre-printed items. So what I'm going to do is just make sure my butcher paper is behind that, which looks good. I want to make sure that I don't have any wrinkles under it. It'll just help with pressing. And for this, I usually heat my heat press to about 395, and then I will press this for about 60 seconds. So I'm going to go get the heat press set up. We're going to press this out, and then we can cut it. The heat press is all ready. Again, I've got parchment or butcher paper under and over my design, and then we're just simply going to press. Once it's ready, go ahead and pull up your press. You can go ahead and move your butcher paper off, and I like to take my print off right away. It is really warm though, so be very careful because remember, this is heated to 400 degrees. Now you can turn off your press, and I'll go ahead and get this all taken off, and then we can get it cut out. I'm going to use this self-healing mat from CRICUT, and all I'm going to do is slide it inside of my shirt so that the image that I used is kind of in the middle, and then I'm just going to make sure that any of the wrinkles and stuff and any of the wrinkles under the mat are out because we're going to use this to cut out our panel. So I just want to kind of get everything except the image off the shirt. Now what's nice is because this is white, you can see through it pretty well. So what I'm going to do is just sort of even this out. Looks pretty even, looks pretty straight. I think I want to go down a little bit more. But what I love is that I can see through this, so it's going to make cutting this a little bit easier and cutting it straight. So I'm using a rotary cutter from Decapa. They sent this to me, and I'm pretty pumped because I haven't tried it yet. So we're going to try it on this. So all we're going to do, and this doesn't really matter, like you want to cut it relatively straight, but like it's fine. Like I can't cut a straight line to save my life, but I try. So all I'm doing is just kind of following the lines that are on the mat that's under here. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's fine. Nobody will notice it. And we're just going to cut around this image so that you have a pretty big panel. And I can see I definitely didn't cut straight there, but that's okay. So this worked really well, by the way. This is really nice. And then to close it, you just click the little button. So now we have the panel. And we have the shirt. So we'll go ahead and toss this over to the side because this is just scrap. This is the shirt that we're going to use as our top part of our shirt. So it's this really pretty like tealy color. Please don't ask me the name of it. I don't remember, but I'll try to link it down below when I find it because I did order this from, I believe I got this from Shirt Space or Jiffy Shirts. Those are pretty much where I order from all the time. So all I'm doing is putting that mat back inside this shirt And this one we are going to need to be a little bit more accurate. So what I'm going to do is just tuck this down so that it's kind of centered in the shirt. Now this one you can't see through, obviously, but that's okay. We don't need to. So a quick little trick that I like to use is I actually keep the print so that I can kind of use this to size my strips. It's really easy to do as long as you keep your print. Now obviously this one is flipped, but that's okay because all we need to really do is figure out about where we want this to sit. And I'm going to go ahead and tape it down. Now taping it down just helps hold it in place, and we'll readjust here in just a second. I'm just sticking tape on it right now, but we'll make sure it's straight and where we want it to be. And actually that looks pretty straight, right? I think that looks pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and move that piece of tape. Now the nice thing is the rotary cutters will cut through this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm using my paper as my guide, and this just makes it so much easier to cut and make sure that number one, your image is where you want it to be. And number two, you're not cutting too far over into the edge so that you can't glue your panel on. And you can kind of go from the bottom to the top. It's however you want to do it and whatever like makes you happy. So just kind of do your own thing. But I just like to cut these strips, and then you can cut them as thin or as wide as you want them. You can vary them. It's really up to you and how you want to do this. But as you can see, as you start cutting, it does slide a little bit, so you'll want to kind of hold the paper down. And again, I do have that self-healing mat inside here, so I'm going to cut that strip a little bit thinner because I didn't like how thick it was. And then I'm going to cut this one. So again, it's cutting through the paper and the shirt both. And I am using a decent amount of pressure because I want to make sure that it gets through both items. And this is just a great way to make it easier so you can make sure that you are using the image and you're not going to cut off your image at all. This is just a super handy way to do that. So again, we'll just finish cutting these, and then I'm going to show you guys how to place the panel. So once that's done, I always just kind of check, see if there's anywhere else I'd like to cut a different slit, or if I want to cut a slit longer than another one. Because like right down here, these ones are a little bit short, so maybe I'd want to cut like a little bit longer on the edges, especially like this one's a little short. So I may just add a little length to some of them. Okay, I think that's better. So now I'm going to go ahead and press the little button to slide my rotary cutter back in, and then we can just take this off. And you'll see that you have slits cut in your shirt perfectly for where your design is going to sit inside. So now what I need to do is I'm going to go ahead and take out our cutting board here, our self-healing mat. This is the best thing to have as a self-healing mat when doing these. And then I'm going to take my shirt and I'm going to flip it inside out. Simple as this. And you'll see where your cuts are now. So now you have all your slits right here. And I'm just going to lay my shirt out really quick. Nice layout. And then your panel is going to go with the colored side out, so down. And then it's going to go right into your little slits. So you just sort of need to make sure that the bottom and the top here, that your image is inside of your slits. And it looks centered. And again, you can just center it based on the shirt itself. It's just going to be the same thing that you would do if you were putting this on the front. So that looks good. So this is basically what you're going to do. So we need to get some heat and bond. And we're using Heat and Bond Ultra Hold. This is 5/8 inch, and this stuff is awesome. This is perfect for this kind of a project. So I just keep my image flipped upside down. And we need to find the beginning of our Heat and Bond. This stuff is super thin, which is really nice, and it's super easy to use. So the first thing I'm going to do is measure these out. I'm not going to press them or anything right now. I'm just going to measure them out so that they are the correct length for our image. So that one goes there. We'll do the top. Now again, because I didn't cut a perfect square, one may be a little bit longer than another, and that's okay. No big deal. So there's that one, and then we need to get the sides. Now again, I'm not pressing these down yet. These are not sticky until you heat them. That's Heat and Bond. And we're going to use our little mini press to do this because this is like a perfect job for the little mini presses. These are so handy. We'll use the Nicapa one to test that guy out. So again, I'm just measuring these out. We're not pressing them to this side. I'm just using this as a measuring tool. Okay, perfect. So let's go ahead and slide these off, and I like to just slide them off to where I put them. So like if that's the top, that's the top, that's the bottom. So I'm going to grab one of my heat press mats, and I'm going to place my image onto my heat press mat here. And we're going to get our little mini press all warmed up and ready to go. So all I've done is just press the little button on the top to turn it on. We're going to let that heat up, and when we come back, we're going to press the heat and bond to the fabric, and then we can put it onto our shirt. So she gives us a nice little beep when she's ready. So what we're going to do, there's two sides. You'll feel one side is papery, and then the other side kind of is shiny and has like a texture. That is the side that goes down onto your fabric, is this like kind of rough side. So what I'm going to do is just make sure it's fully on my fabric. And then we are going to press this. Now the instructions say, and I will read them word for word for you. It says, place and hold iron on paper liner for 2 seconds. Repeat until entire surface is bonded. Allow to cool. Peel off the paper liner. Then we're going to place the project adhesive side down on top of fabric. Press and hold iron for 8 seconds on each section, slightly overlapping until the entire surface is bonded. So first section, we're going to do 1, 2. Then we're going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now I think they make you do it quickly because they don't want you to damage the adhesive, because it's just like with HTV where you kind of go slower. So we'll let that cool while we press the others. So we'll press this side next. So again, I want to make sure I get this to the edge. And we'll go ahead and press this quickly. And this part really is super easy. You could do this with your heat press, but I personally just prefer to do it with an iron. It's a little bit quicker for me. And that way I know I'm not going to like burn it or anything. So we'll just do it with the iron. Very, very simple. So again, we'll just press this side. I'll go ahead and finish this, and then we can put it on the shirt. So let's go ahead and get the paper peeled off the cool parts, and then by the time we're done with that, it should be ready to peel off the part that I just pressed. Getting that paper started, not so easy, but that's okay. We'll make it work. So again, we're just going to go ahead and peel all the paper off. And you'll see that you have a little shiny section. It's not sticky or anything, but it is shiny. That's your adhesive. Oh, and that one ripped when I peeled, so we'll just carefully go back. There you go. Now this one had some tape on it from the packaging, so I would recommend making sure that you peel that off rather than try to press over that. That stuck to my press a little bit. So now it says what we do is place the project adhesive side down on top of fabric. So this is the adhesive side. Press and hold the iron for 8 seconds on each section, slightly overlapping until the entire surface is bonded. So again, we're doing this from the inside. So adhesive side down is going to be picture side down. So that's when we're going to line this up to where we want it onto our shirt. So again, I'm just using... I can feel where the stripes are, like where the strips are. So you want to make sure that your heat and bond is not over a strip, because you don't want it to bond to the other side of your shirt. So I just need to pull that one up a little bit just to be certain. I'm going to go ahead and just slide that up. And you want to make sure there's no wrinkles. And you want to make sure your design is straight and where you want it. And then we can go through and do the 8 seconds. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'll go through and do 8 seconds on each part. We'll turn our press off, and we are ready to turn this the right side out to make sure that it looks good. I think we did a really good job. This was pretty easy, pretty fun. And you can use HTV if you don't have sublimation. You can really do whatever kind of design that you want to do. And so when you get here, you'll see how it's kind of hard to see through. What you can do is take and just pull your little strings here, and that'll help spread them out a little more, and they'll hang better. You can just stretch them. You don't want to pull really taut. You just want to a gentle pull will do, and that's going to stretch them out. And if you need to expand them at all, you can still do that. Just make sure that you're not going to cut into the fabric, but you are welcome to cut them a little bit wider if you so desire, but I just like to give them a little tuggy tug. And then you'll see that you have this beautiful design that when worn, you're going to be able to see really well. But again, like let's say we think we want to go a little bit further out with these balloon sections. All you got to do is just take some scissors. You don't want to use your rotary tool because you'll cut through both things. You just take a pair of scissors and you can just go in and just give it a little tweak if you so desire. It's really up to you how you want to do it. You can go in, give it more zhuzh. I've seen people like tie these and make really cute little things. So it's really up to you and how you want to do it. So I'm going to get this held up so you guys can see it really well. Here is our shirt all finished. This is a really fun thing that you can do. And like I said, you can do this with sublimation. You can do this with HTV. You could even cut an old shirt that you have that maybe has a stain or doesn't fit anymore, cut that image out and make it a shirt like this. It's a lot of fun things that you could do with this. I think this would be fun with like a tote bag, purses, all sorts of really, really fun options to do with this peekaboo trend. Again, it's really simple and you really only need a few supplies, and a lot of it you may already have. Again, thank you to Nakapa for sending me the rotary cutter and the mini iron. I really appreciate those. Those were super helpful in this project. If you guys have any questions, let me know in those comments down below. I'll link everything we used for this video down below as well. I hope you guys had so much fun checking out how to make this really fun peekaboo shirt. Have a great day and happy crafting.